Welcome to Business Legal Lifecycle TV, the live TV show all about the legal aspects of your business to help educate you on complex legal terms in an easy to understand manner, to help understand why you need to do certain things in your business from a legal point of view, and to help you develop a plan for the future. Our mission at Business Legal Lifecycle is to help empower all small to medium-sized businesses around the world to get access to legal advice so that they can help build their communities and make the world a better place.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Business Legal Lifecycle TV. It is Fast Fix Monday, and we're talking about structuring today. I am Craig Mason, and I have with me Jeremy Stratton. Say hello to everyone, please, Jeremy.
Hi everyone, hope you have an awesome Monday.
Absolutely. So, as I said, we're talking about structuring at the moment, and specifically today, what is the best structure for your business? So, as always, there's many ways to be right. These sorts of things depend on what you want to do with your business or how you, what sort of business you're in. So we're talking generally about sort of the three main structures that you'll come across when setting up a business, or structures that you may change to throughout your business life cycle. So, Jerry, we're going to talk about sole trader as the first structure today.
Yeah, sole trader is the first one, and sole trader is where you trade your business in your own name, and this is by far and away the most common structure that people use. It's also the most dangerous, and there's a couple of reasons for that. When you're a sole trader, the money that you earn in the business all comes to you, every single cent. And we'll go through company and trust in a minute, but there are advantages to having those kind of structures that you do not get with a sole trader. It's all you as a sole trader. The same goes with personal liability. So in any business that you run, you're going to be liable, the person who's running the business is liable for different aspects of the business, maybe for negligent advice, maybe for work that was done incorrectly. If you're a sole trader, the buck stops with you. Every single bit of liability is yours, and you don't have a choice on that. And if you're got any assets in your own name, then they can be attacked. So sole traders, whilst it's the most common, is also, in my view, the most risky. And it's something that if you're running any sort of business where there's any sort of liability, you probably want to get yourself out of that sole trader as soon as possible and have a look at either of the other structures that Craig and I are going to talk about today. So that's a sole trader. Craig, do you want to talk about a company?
Yeah, so a company, as Jeremy said, is its own legal entity that enters into transactions and goes about its business. So from a protection point of view for you personally, you would have, if you're in a risky sort of business, then a company would be ideal in this situation. And also, if you're talking about scaling and growing your business, then a company is potentially going to be the better option there as well. So, as I said, it's its own legal entity. The shareholders are not liable, or they can be liable up until the share capital. And they're also, when you're talking about directors, so directors are only liable for certain things, potentially insolvent trading and things like that. So that's where you get that protection. However, you've also got to be wary of, when you're in a company and you're dealing with the outside world, that you are more likely than not going to be signing what's called a personal or a director's guarantee. So that pierces the protection that you have as a director. And if you sign a personal guarantee, then you are, as the title of the document indicates, personally liable. So whenever you're in a company, there's a rough chance when you're entering into a lease, getting into an agreement with a supplier about goods, any money that you might be loaning, etc. There's going to be personal guarantees that you're most likely going to be required to sign, and in that basis, you may become personally liable for those things. So be careful of that. But a company, is probably the main sort of recommended structure when it comes to business. It is a bit more expensive, or is more expensive to, one, set up, and two, maintain, rather than a sole trader. So there are added expenses. However, the protection that you get and the flexibility of having a company and having shares probably outweighs the cost of setting it up and the ongoing costs. So that is the company structure. And the last one we're going to talk about, Jeremy, is the trust structure.
Yeah, so a trust is like a company. It's a separate legal entity, and there's a few different parties that go with the trust. You've got the trustee who has the day-to-day management of the trust. You have the beneficiaries who are entitled to the income and the distribution of any capital in the trust. And a trust is really set up as a separate entity that is great for tax planning purposes. So there are different tax advantages of using a trust as opposed to a company. And we're not going to go through that in today's show because that really is advice that you need to get from your accountant about what the best structure is for you. But just know that there are better advantages and better structures that you can have in place for a trust structure over and above a company and over and above a sole trader. So a trust does allow you to better distribute your income that you make in your company or in your business, I should say, and you can set up tax structures so that you can minimize the tax that you have to pay. So that's really all I want to go into a trust, except to say that if you do listen to this or watch this and want to go for a trust structure, go and get advice about the best trust structure for you, Craig. So that's our best structures for our business owner clients.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was show 206. So if you're interested in the show notes for today's show, please jump on the website and get the show notes at 206. As Jeremy said, this is the sort of thing you want to be talking to your advisors about, getting the right advice, because you don't want to get this wrong, because it can have some major problems along the way, including increasing the costs. So definitely get some advice, talk to your consultants, make sure you get this structuring right. If you've got any questions or want to add anything to the show, please get in touch with us. We want to obviously give as much information as we can to our business owner listeners, make sure they're getting the most value out of the podcast. So, get in touch. I think, Jeremy, nothing else for us?
That's it.
All right, great. Thanks, everyone.
Have a great week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.